Well, good morning and welcome to the new dawn. It is 6 a.m. in Nairobi, Kenya on this Monday, the 20th of May, 2024. You're glad you could join us this morning. My name is Michelle Ngele Odhiambo. We'd love to hear where you're watching us from as well. Do speak to us on X at K24 Tv. The hashtag is New Dawn. It is a heavy news day today as we keep an eye on some of the top stories making headlines, especially in the political field. At the top of the hour, we'll be having a conversation on the state of politics in the country in the wake of that Limuru 3 event that took place over the weekend and many other political events shaping the country. That's coming up at the top of the hour. But first, a look at some of the top stories making headlines this morning. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday made his first public appearance since Sunday last week amid reports of serious rifts between him and President William Ruto. And for the first time, legislators who vowed to support the second in command admitted that there exists a serious rift in the executive, pitting the second in command and his boss, while pointing accusing fingers to Rift Valley leaders who were keen to split the duo in favor of Kiharu legislator Ndindi Nyoro. Here's Martin Apio with the details.
After staying off the limelight for 7 consecutive days and missing state events, the second in command made his maiden appearance at his backyard in Nyeri, where he argued that he had been making observations on illicit brews consumption. However, in a church service that doubled up as a fundraiser at Sacred Heart and Narasha Catholic Church in Kieni in Nyeri County, DP allies did not hesitate to make admissions that there was a rift within the executive.
Kuna jama iko mahali na unaundiwa kule pande ya Undaraupa kule Rift Valley. Na watu wa Rift Valley wachunge sana wa vijana kujaribu kupanga Mount Kenya. Murima sisi tuko tayari kujipanga na tumejipanga nyuma ya Rigathi Gachagua.
Hii misukasuko kugongana kidogo, hiyo ni kawaida, ndio watu waweze kufanya nini? Kuelewana. Now that is exactly what is happening.
According to Kiambu Senator Wahome Wamatinga, the rift is allegedly being spearheaded by Rift Valley leaders who have been accompanying Kiharu legislator Ndindi Nyoro on his now frequent tours across the country.
Very unfortunate that some people have decided to take full advantage and have decided to drive a wedge between the deputy president and the president. And we are not going to allow that to happen. We have a responsibility to the electorate.
Kuna kijana kutoka hapa Kiharu, kijana ya Kiharu, na shangaa yeye anataka kusimama urais 2027 ama kampeni ale hii yote ni ya kazi gani? Naona kijana mwingine wenu wa Laikipia hapo anarusha mawe.
On his part, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua urged leaders to focus on developing their regions and leave the fight to him.
For now, 2024, 2025, up to 2026 June.
But as it stands between 2024, 2025 and 2026 June, those of us in leadership must be given time to deliver. Once it gets to July, let everyone step out. Men must face each other. Is there anyone with a kid behind their back? Even those with the kids will hand them out.
Let us respect those who are elected and give them a chance to work.
Rigathi wants the political temperatures to be eased down and instead focus on issues that are related to fighting alcoholism in the region, while maintaining that his sole mandate remains serving Kenyans.
Hii mambo maneno mingi imeongewa hapa ya siasa. I will say nothing. The reason being, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President, is a man of few words.
For months, the DP has denied allegations and reports of a rift in the executive, terming it as an imagination and propaganda from the media. But now, it appears that all is out in the public domain, despite insisting that the rift is just a passing cloud. Last week, the DP missed an important event that needed his input, with his allies claiming that he was taking a rest. Compounding to his issues, his political foe and opposition leader Raila Odinga, alongside Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen, were forced to step in to see off visiting Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. The main concern is that Gachagua might also undergo the same tribulations that William Ruto underwent under the hands of President Uhuru Kenyatta while serving as the deputy.
We will not allow our son to go through that at all. Kama mbaya, but he will not be taken through that. Hatutaruhusu. He will not be taken through that. Hakupewa kiti na mtu, alingangania. Na hicho kiti kura tulizozipiga ndizo zilimpa deputy president. And he is not a deputy president by default.
His allies are vowing that they will not allow young thugs within the government to disrespect the DP. While maintaining that Rigathi is the kingpin of the mountain, they said that they have to stick together through thick and thin, while insisting that the Kenya Kwanza government was an all-fought-out initiative.
Among the hustler nation, kuna watu wengi sana walitaka kuwa deputy president. Lakini the person that was found to be fit, competent, capable, eloquent was Rigathi Gachagua.
According to the leaders who put out a strong defense for Rigathi, the Limuru 3 event that took place on Friday has no consequence, but only geared towards dividing the central Kenya region.
Sangine mtetea akipiga kelele na jogoo yuko na hiyo maneno yeleweki. Hawa wanapiga tu kelele, lakini kiongozi ambaye anatambulika Kenya mzima si tu kwa mlima.
The former President Uhuru Kenyatta was also roped in and asked to stay off politics as he is now retired. Martin Opio, K24 TV, Nairobi.
President William Ruto last evening traveled to the United States of America for a 4-day state visit to advocate for more investments in Kenya. This comes almost 2 decades after a similar visit by former president, the late Mwai Kibaki, and the first African president since 2018. The visit comes amid speculation of a fallout between Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, with State House dismissing the allegations. The DP will be taking charge in the absence of the president, as Aljol Chacha now reports.
Kenya-US bilateral strategic dialogue anchored on 5 main themes, and I'll read them. 1, economic prosperity through trade and investment. 2, defense cooperation. 3, democracy, governance, and civilian security. 4, multilateral and regional issues. And 5, health cooperation. It is in this context of pursuing tangible outcomes in each of these critical result areas that accelerated cooperation has led to the gracious invitation of President Ruto by his counterpart, President Joe Biden.
Becoming the first president since 2008 in Africa and in Kenya for 2 decades, to visit the Joe Biden-led country, he will be accorded full ceremonial state honors in Washington, D.C. on his 3rd day of the visit.
The President and the First Lady will travel to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, May 22nd, arriving at Andrews Air Force Base, where they will be officially received with full ceremonial state honors. On Thursday, which is the main day of the President's state visit to the United States, he will hold the main bilateral meetings with his host, President Biden, and delve deeper into Kenya-US economic, health, and security partnership, and discuss regional developments on the continent, highlighting the fragilities and opportunities on the continent.
However, the alleged power struggles back home, State House has dismissed a rift between President Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
About the deputy president and the president, to my knowledge, there is no issue.
On concerns of the visit to what will be considered a mature democracy coming at a time, the claims of former President Uhuru Kenyatta are being sabotaged as he lacks an office to operate from. This has been addressed to save the image of President Ruto.
There's an office complex in Nyari that has been used by previous president, the late President Mwai Kibaki, and he occupied that office for 9 years. It is very well known that the office is there, it is vacant, and President Uhuru Kenyatta can use that office as and when he deems fit to use it. On
the budgetary allocations to the retired president's office,
channels and mechanisms to access budget and provisions in the office of the 4th president, and all those have been provided for officially for any official engagement.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
The first batch of 200 Kenyan police officers is expected to leave for Haiti next week. The officers, drawn from 3 different elite groups, will serve as front-runners to the remaining counterparts in a move intended to stabilize Haiti amid escalating turmoil. This comes even as the Law Society of Kenya expressed strong objections to the planned deployment, terming it unconstitutional. Lamek Agutu with the details.
Gang violence has been the order of the day in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, since January last year. The country's militia gangs have had their fair share of rule of the country's critical infrastructure such as prisons and airports. The gangs were initially demanding for the resignation of former Prime Minister Ariel Henry, are still causing mayhem, killing close to 2,000 civilians after his resignation. In a bid to address the severe political instability and violence, the UN Security Council gave Kenya a thumbs up to lead a multinational peacekeeping mission to the gang-ravaged Caribbean country. However, the plan was later halted by a court ruling after Prime Minister Ariel Henry resigned in April. Despite the objections, the government remains firm in its deployment plan. The first batch of the Allied Police Squad is set to leave for Haiti next week. The officers drawn from Kenya Police REC Squad, Rapid Deployment Force, and Special Operation Group will lead the operation by securing the country's critical installations such as airports as they await for their counterparts.
A bilateral reciprocal agreement was entered into between Kenya and Haiti, which facilitates Kenya to be able to deploy. And we are in the process, or government is in the process of finalizing preparation to deploy. I can tell you for sure that that deployment will happen in the next few days, few weeks.
The mission is, however, facing fresh opposition from a number of civil society groups. The Law Society of Kenya is the latest critic, questioning the mission's legal, ethical, and operational framework. In a statement released today, the society says a number of legal requirements concerning the deployment has not been met, terming it as unconstitutional and illegal. Lamek Agutu for K24 TV, Nairobi.
Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasser has maintained a tough stance against the ban on selling of mogoka and miraa close to schools and religious organizations, amid pressure from Meru and Embu leaders who toured the county for negotiations in order to resolve the differences. The meeting was also aimed at persuading the governor to reduce miraa and mogoka fees, which has gone up from 50,000 shillings to 80,000 shillings per vehicle, as stipulated in the County Financial Bill 2024-2025. Here's Boniface Musangi with the details.
The push and pull between the county government of Mombasa and miraa mogoka traders is not yet over, as Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasser continued to put tough measures on the products, this time banning their use by public service vehicles operators on duty within the county.
Hata hawa wenye kufanya mambo ya public transport, sababu wewe ni dereva wa tuk-tuk, ni dereva wa matatu, ni dereva wa bodaboda. Ukiwa unataka kufanya starehe yako, fanya starehe yako, sio kwa unabeba abiria ama unabeba watoto wa shule.
The move comes a few days after Mombasa County introduced a ban on selling of miraa and mogoka 100 meters from schools and religious centers, and the start of the implementation of new cess fees, which has gone up from 50,000 shilling to 80,000 shilling per vehicle, a move which attracted the attention of leaders from miraa and mogoka grown areas led by Embu Governor Cecil Mbarire and Meru Senator Kathure Murungi. The two, accompanied with county assembly members, were in Mombasa last week to seek audience with Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasser.
The county assembly were reconsidered the 80 ambayo wametucharge kwa track to 60, na umesema kwamba wakifungua assembly because they are on recess, they will look into that. I still wish to take this opportunity to kindly urge them to reconsider that decision.
Hata tukiwa Meru pale, kama unaenda kuoa especially Nyambene huko Egembe, lazima upeleke bunda ya miraa kwa mkoa wako ndio uweze kuomba huyo harusi. Kwa hivyo miraa kwetu pale ni kilimo ambayo tumeheshimu sana.
The visit by Meru leaders at Elimu na Mazingira Governor's office just days after the delegation led by Embu Governor Cecil Mbarire showed the seriousness of the conflict, which has left Miraa and Muguka traders counting losses of over 80 million shillings.
Kutoka 6,000 mpaka 18,000, yani unapiga leseni mara 3. Hiyo kweli ni kama ambao unatufukuza.
Traders from the two counties of Meru and Embu, which produce Miraa and Muguka respectively, are now trading blame games over which product has led to the implementation of the ban by county government of Mombasa.
Mogoka huwa ni pesa kidogo sana. Watu wananunua, sasa wengine watoto student wataki hata kwenda mambo waende shule.
Hii kichapo ambao sisi tunachapwa watu wa Miraa ambao ni watu wa Meru ni kichapo ya Muguka. Sisi haituhusu sisi mambo ya Muguka. Sisi ni watu wa kuuza Miraa ambao ni ya ustaarabu.
Saa hii ndio tumesikia iko shinda ingine ya mumea tofauti na Miraa. Kwa hivyo tunataka Miraa irudi katika ile hali yake ya zamani, mahali ilikuwa kutoka zamani.
The stimulants have been linked with different side effects, including mood changes, aggressiveness, anxiety, and depression, of which Mombasa County government officials are associating the behavior with the increase in juvenile gang cases in Mombasa.
Nikaeka gea ndogo tu, hata si gea kubwa. Gea ndogo nikasema tuongeze. Nimefatwa kupunguza, tumesema hayo hatuwezi kubali. Hatupingi jamii, twapinga mmea. Hatupingi biashara, twapiga aina ya biashara.
Hata waziri wa finance, anzeni kutengeneza hii bill vile wanamwambia, wekeni migoka iwe ya bei ya juu mpaka washinde kulipa. Na mimi mwenyewe naliongelea vile Mombasa governor ameanza. Simdanganyi, nitafuata hivyo vile anavyofanya kule Mombasa.
Boniface Msangi, K24, Mombasa.
A deaf couple in Nakuru County has defied all odds and exchanged vows in a colorful wedding at St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church in Menengai Ward, Nakuru East. Thomas Misu, age 50, and 25-year-old Grace Wanjiru met during their day-to-day activities in Nakuru and through a heart-to-heart communication fell in love. Family, friends and colleagues yesterday came to the church to celebrate their union. Here's Mumbio Mbugu with this inspiring story.
It was all joy and dance at St. Francis of Assisi in Nakuru East as Thomas Misu and Grace Wanjiru tied their knot.
Kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana na la Roho Mtakatifu.
The union has become an inspiration to those aspiring to follow a similar path.
Kama unatenda mambo yako kiholela holela, ina maana hauna Roho Mtakatifu. Jiulize, mambo yako unatendanga namna gani? Kwa utaratibu ama unatendanga katika hali ambayo haielekezi mwelekeo? Kwa hivyo ukiona kama umeolewa, bwana yako ana mpangilio, basi unajua ana Roho Mtakatifu.
Grace was encouraged in Nakuru, so I came and I was introduced to this guy, and he said he loves Grace. When Grace was asked, she said yes, and the only one. So I believe they love each other, and from there we continued with their relationship, sister monitoring whether it is true, and we came to find out it was very true.
The couple, through their parents, says that communication has never been a challenge as their undying love for each other has continued to embed them together.
Nilikuwa nasema, hii siku kweli itafika na nione ikitimia. But today I'm happy because imetimia na Grace ametupatia heshima. Heshima kubwa sana. Kufanya harusi ya kanisa bila kwanza kutuletea mtoto nyumbani. It is a great honor she has given us.
Siku ya leo kwangu ni miujiza ambayo imetimilika kwa sababu si wengi wanapata mabwana, lakini Mungu ambaye aliumba Grace kwa hali ile alimuumba, alijua siku yake itafika na atapata bwana na atamwezesha na hata kanisa itahusika kumpangia hiyo harusi.
The overly overjoyed family of the couple have committed to support the two newlyweds in thin and thickness.
Wakati mimi ninaona harusi ya ndugu yangu inakuwa sawa, hivyo ninafurahia apate mahali wa kukaa. hata ajisikie vile wengine waiko na bipi vile wanajisikia.
Nimeshukuru kwa hii harusi ya huyu kijana wetu, naye maisha yake hakuzaliwa hivyo, lakini ni mpango wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Saa kwa vile amepata mke wake, nimeshukuru zaidi.
Mumbi Wambogo, K24 TV, Nakuru County.
Community members from select towns along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway have expressed concern over the rising number of teenage pregnancies, sexual and gender-based violence, as well as early marriages in the region. The residents have accused truck drivers of using the route of being the primary cause, prompting action from organizations dedicated to eradicating the vices. Here's Ben Kirira with the details.
Data collected in Naivasha by K24, an non-governmental organization, reveals over 300 cases of violence targeting minors. Transit towns including Mai Mahiu, Longonot, Naivasha and Kikopey along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway are the hardest hit by cases of early marriages, teenage pregnancies and gender-based violence.
Some of the children are abused, some of them are abandoned. And among the other places that we are working on is another place called Karura. Karura is again on the highway, and majorly SGBV cases happens there.
According to K24, these towns are particularly affected due to the high number of truck drivers seeking services in the stopovers. Area leader Samuel Wambogo has attributed the high incidences to poverty, lack of awareness and cultural beliefs, noting that they have, however, made interventions to address the negative norms.
Tuseme msichana amepata mimba, maybe ni underage, na wazazi wataki aibu, wanamuoza.
Within Gilgil, in the past 6 months, we have had 150 cases that are reported in the children's office.
The rise in teenage pregnancies has also led to many girls dropping out of school. To address these norms, K24 has partnered with local communities under the Tetea program to reduce the incidence of such vices. Ben Kirera, K24, Nairobi.
Those are some of the top stories making headlines this morning. Let's take a break on the New Dawn. When we come back, that conversation on the state of politics, as well as a look at making headlines on the dailies. We have with us political analysts in studio, political analyst Willie Kamau, as well as Kimani Mwangi, as we go deep into the political issues shaping the stage, as well as President Ruto's historic U.S. visit that begins today. That's coming up after this break. Remember, the hashtag is New Dawn. You can also speak to us on X at K24 TV. We'd like to hear what you think about some of the top stories making headlines. We'll be sampling your comments in the course of the broadcast. Just stay with us.
When it comes to playing music, we've got you covered. Mixed down by the legendary DJ Blackie. From Caribbean rhythms